Hey guys, today we're at Dreamhack and we're doing this in English because we have two exclusive interviews. We're meeting a world-famous StarCraft 2 commentator, Apollo. You all know him, you all love him. And also we're meeting Ben Baker, DeMusliM, professional StarCraft 2 player participating in Dreamhack. I'm standing here with Apollo. Apollo, another Dreamhack. You are here as usual. How are you feeling?
Really good. It's moments away from the top 8 show starting here at Dreamhack Summer. It's good to be doing a Dreamhack again. I missed Dreamhack Bucharest because of my brother's wedding. But I think it's my 17th, 18th Dreamhack StarCraft 2 event or something along the lines. It's good to be back. I'm excited, I'm busy, I'm hyped.
How are you enjoying Sweden?
Sweden's great. It's always great. I used to live here, so it's always good to come back. And I always forget when I come back, the water is clean and drinkable from the taps. It's really nice. The girls are beautiful, and of course to work with Dreamhack is always a pleasure.
It's good to be back. It's good to have StarCraft here. It's good to have you here. How's the tournament been for you? How's the tournament been for everyone?
Tournament's been really good so far. Day 1 was quieter in Group Stage 2. There wasn't really that much that happened. Group Stage 3 and Day 2 really stepped it up a lot, and we really saw some really awesome games. And now coming into Day 3, I think this is a really good top 8 players that we have. We've got Tasia, Liquid Hero up there. We've got Jadong in there. We've got the Boss Toss in there. And it's just going to be the best of all 3.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I'm looking forward to some exciting games. And speaking of the Boss Toss, I happened to hear the other day, yesterday I think it was, when you didn't have him as a favorite.
Right.
You got quite upset and called you a bad caster. Do you have a response for him?
It was all jokes and games, and he knows it was, because as soon as I came off camera and he did, I ran up to him, I was like, hey, what the hell? He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just messing around. We actually hang out a lot together in Germany. We got to eat a lot. So I knew what he was going to say and what he was going to do. We always tease each other. But, I mean, come on, man. Sean was a good choice to do well in the tournament. It was unfortunate that he met MC in the position that he did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been put in that position. I wasn't going to back out of my prediction. So, MC.
Whenever we watch StarCraft or we see a tournament and so on, you always seem to have a good atmosphere and you all seem to be really good friends. Is it like living with your family, or extended family in some way?
It's like close friends, because we all travel to the same countries, we all see each other in different countries, we all work together at the same events. And because there's so much StarCraft, and you know, within WCS there's weekly leagues of this stuff, so we see each other all the time. And it's good to be able to hang out, eat food, talk StarCraft, and just enjoy each other's company. And we all get on really well. That's one of the things I like about StarCraft, that it does pull everybody together as one, and we all enjoy it, so.
Yeah, good to hear. You work as a full-time caster for ESL. What's it like being a full-time caster and just doing the thing that I assume you love?
I love every little bit of StarCraft and always have done. It's amazing. It's a dream come true. I'm able to work every single day on what I love, which is StarCraft. It's really hard work at times because it's not all fun and games. It's not, you know, 3 shows a week, turn up for the show, go home. It's, you know, being there from very early in the morning till quite late at night, working on ideas for the shows, working on how the presentation of the show is going to look like, thinking about how I can improve myself as a caster. And then you've got playing StarCraft on the side, which is obviously a very important thing that you need to do as a commentator. It's busy, it's really hectic, and everybody puts in a lot of hours, but nobody complains because, like you said, it's the dream job.
If there's anyone watching this that wants to be a caster, do you have any tips for how you go about or what you should think about and so on?
It's the industry in itself, StarCraft, is very difficult to break into to work as a full-time employee or something. And you know, everybody, whether it's writing news articles, whether it's doing interviews, being an admin, all of this you need to do the best of the best you can do. You've got to put in 110%. You need a little bit of luck on your side sometimes as well, but I've always said this, whether you're a player, commentator, host, if you're good enough, you will become what you will want to be. It's not like you can be good and never be noticed to then never get a position. If you're good enough, it's 2014, you've got a Twitch stream, load up a Twitch stream and cast every single night and put the work in. You'll start to get recognition if you're good, and then you can build from there.
Yeah. And finally, I just want to ask you something. I know in the past you've made a lot of bets with people. We saw you as Pikachu in Dreamhack.
Yes.
I know you owe Soulkey a dinner, if you haven't paid that already. I was hoping that we could make a little bet, you and me.
All right, what do you want to bet on?
Who's going to win the tournament?
Whoa, who are you betting for?
I'm gonna go with MC because he's my favorite player.
All right, if you're taking MC from the low bracket, I'll take Tasia from the top bracket.
That feels like a bit of a safe bet, doesn't it?
It's a safe bet, but I mean, I can't pick anyone from the low bracket. I either have to pick Jaedong or Tasia. I think are the two players that are going to do well up there. And I think Tasia's got an edge over Jaedong, so I have to go with Tasia, man. What are we going to bet on?
I was thinking Dreamhack Winter.
All right.
We do a better interview. We do a longer one.
All right. I'll make a bet on that. That seems kind of simple.
Yeah.
All right. Done.
Good. Thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome.
I'm standing here with Ben DeMusliM Baker, and you are a professional StarCraft 2 player, right?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, actually. I haven't been to a Dreamhack in roughly 4 years, so it's really good to be back in Sweden and having a great time here.
What's your impression of Dreamhack compared to last time you were here?
It grew a lot. Like, it grew massively. Everything's way more professional than it ever has been. There's way more people, and it's just bigger and better.
You've been here competing. Last time you were at a Dreamhack event, you were casting, right?
Yes.
What's the difference in being here competing as to casting?
Like, when you're a caster here, it's much easier. You just get to talk about a game that you love and that you play all the time anyway. When you're a player and you come here, it all comes down to like your group, like who's in your group. Do you have a good group? Do you have are these players good against your race? It's very tense. You put a lot of effort into practicing for it, whereas the casting, that kind of comes naturally. If you're a decent speaker about the game and you know what you're talking about, then it just flows. Whereas playing, it's always stressful, it's always tense, and unfortunately for me, I didn't do that well this event, but I have a good time either way.
What's your impression of Sweden as country and Jönköping and Dreamhack?
Well, I'm currently, or I have been living in Tyresö, like near Stockholm, for the last 2 or 3 months, so I love Sweden. Like, the people are really pretty, like very beautiful people. They're also pretty, they have like dark humors. They're pretty reserved people, but once they're talking, they're totally fine. But yeah, it's a lovely country to be in. It's a little expensive, but if anybody ever gets the opportunity to live here, totally recommend it. It's a great place. It reminds me of like, if you think about Middle Earth, like Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
I think of Swedish people and Scandinavians in general as like elvish people. Like they're just mystical kind of guys. So yeah, I have a really good time here.
I like that. Often we're just the cold people up north,
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, north of the wall kind of thing. Yeah. Good to hear that you enjoy your stay here in Sweden, that you're currently living here. That's amazing. How about this tournament then? How's it been going for everyone else and so on? What do you think? What's your prediction for?
Well, for predictions, I'd have to say I think Tasia's going to win, just because Tasia's so awfully strong. Besides that, I'm cheering on my teammate now, Jaedong, and I'm making sure that he's feeling good. I'm giving him massages in between games and stuff, keeping him cool, keeping him relaxed. Yeah, it's been a crazy tournament with lots of upsets, which doesn't usually happen, and when we have these upsets happening, it just makes StarCraft feel alive and good and strong again.
I saw you earlier sitting next to Scarlett when she was playing MC.
Yeah.
And she won 2-1, I believe.
Yeah.
What's her chances?
She hates playing against Protoss, and apparently the likelihood of her playing a Protoss is, out of the 8 players that she can meet in the next round, 7 of them are Protoss, so she was quite worried. And then the other one that she can meet is Jaedong, and he's so good against Zerg. And I have to say Scarlett's insanely good. Like, she is definitely one of the best foreigners, and she's playing very well here too. She's also using my mouse pad, so I'm like helping her out a little bit. But
so that's the reason she's going
that's
good.
That's the reason she's doing so well. But no, she's solid. She's always a solid performer, and she doesn't quite have as much confidence in herself as she should have. And I think that's one thing that once she gets over that barrier, where she truly believes in herself, that she can really start winning these things.
Good to hear. I hope it goes well for her. How much do you miss being a caster now that you're unfortunately knocked out of the tournament?
When I have nothing to do, I wouldn't mind going up there and casting, but yeah, I love being a player. Like, the casting thing, I'm trying it out, and it is a lot of fun. I get to talk about a game that I love, but that's something that I can do no matter how old I am, whereas the playing thing, how long does anybody have left? Like, some of these players, some of the older players, like we've seen Nesty win tournaments when he's been like 29, some of the hardest tournaments in the world, but this career, it's not going to last forever. You do start to get a little bit slower. So I realized that I do want to make the most out of the gaming, the pro gaming thing, but I love the casting too. Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you very much for doing this interview, and I wish you all the luck in the future, and I hope to see you win some tournaments.
Thank you. I hope so too.